Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is D,
And this is T.
and you're listening to D&T TV. Welcome back, everybody.
What's up, guys?
We are on a spring break at the moment,
So we're like really chilling with this episode.
so this is why the scenery is different. We are in my humble abode. Sorry if there's weird noises you may hear in the background. There's some company over, so this might be a little shorter episode today, just because we got people here and we don't want to.
Break.
It's spring break. We got friends over. We don't want to take up too much of their time, but we're just gonna hop on here, tell us how our break's going, and then maybe get into some other stuff. So, how's break been for you, T?
Pretty good, man. I got in and I was visiting family and shit, and I went to one of my buddies' like Eagle Scout like ceremonies, and like
they have a ceremony for Eagle
yeah,
Scout?
because okay, so every 100 scouts, about one person becomes an Eagle Scout,
Mm-hmm.
right? And only 2% of boys in America are Eagle Scouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you look at like CEOs and like most CEOs and advertising, I think, and
Just like a lot of big business people.
yeah, are Eagle Scouts.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like 100 people went to my buddy's Eagle Scout thing, and it was like a bunch of people I had went. It's JD's family,
Mm-hmm.
and his younger brother Wilborn. He got an Eagle Scout. So, I was part of the ceremony and shit. I'm here in my sweatpants. These guys are in like, fucking Eagle Scout uniforms. And I'm like in sweatpants. I'm like, what's up, you guys?
You feel out of place?
Well, see, like all of JD's family was like looking at me because I had gone to the beach with them. And they're like, oh, what's up, bro? They're looking at me like, do I know this guy? And they're like, oh my fucking God, Tristan, that's you. Because I'd spent a week with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, I talked with them and shit. And I also got my Eagle Scout shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know how it went?
How?
I like at McDonald's with my Scoutmaster.
Really?
Yeah, that was about it.
Yours wasn't as grand?
No, it was fine. It was just easy money. I was like, fuck it. I'm not big for that kind of shit. I'd rather just, I guess it was more for his parents and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, anyways, my break is getting pretty well. Golf season is officially on. And
Full swing.
I see the pun there.
Mm-hmm.
I see the pun. I like it.
I'll try.
And so I actually went out and shot around with my old man yesterday, and I ended up shooting my personal best ever, 79. For those of you who are into golf, you'll know what that means. And so, yeah, I felt pretty good, just chilled with my old man, had a good time. And you know what else I found out about my old man? He's listened to every single episode.
Yeah, same with my mom, actually.
Yeah.
It was kind of...
He told me the other day, and I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I like him. And he's like, so a lot of my coworkers were graduates from WVU, so they like listening to y'all too.
Well, it was kind of funny. My dad had been listening, and he was kind of like, you're kind of harsh on yourself when you were talking about when you were fat. And he's like, now, it's not bad to you, but he was like, you shouldn't be upset because, like, there may be people that were, like, fatter than you that may not think of themselves that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, maybe you shouldn't put that idea of people picking on, like, people that are overweight. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to instruct that narrative, but I'll just let you fucking know, when I was 300 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not nearly as happy as I am now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, maybe I'm a little harsh in that regard. But I kind of talked to my dad about that shit, and my mom was like, yeah, I mean, other than the language, it's not too bad. I'm like, well, it's like my fucking brainchild, this thing. Like, seriously, someone can paint, someone, like, don't get me wrong, I love kayaking. Like, I went biking this week, I went running, I went hiking, shit, I went bowling this week. Yeah, I'm a big nature guy. But this is like my passion. This is like me fucking drawing or some shit.
Yeah.
So like I hate when people try to put a restrictive on this shit. I'm like, fuck you, man.
Yeah. Let me do what I want.
Yeah, but my parents give great advice with this shit. Usually, like when my dad says something, he's usually right about shit. It's like he's like always been telling me to work out.
You come to find out, like, when we were younger, you think, oh, my parents always tell me what to do and everything like that. But, like, the older you get, the more you realize that they know shit.
Yeah, because they've been there.
They've been there and they lived literally twice as long as we have.
You think, like, life's just constantly like a game, but you kind of just get better at it over time.
Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of weird because I feel like you get really good at life, and then at a certain point, you'll start to go backwards.
Yeah, well,
like once you become old and senile.
Yeah, because like you really, I mean, like as you get older, your emotional intelligence grows. Like, you know how everybody loves a sweet grandma, because you know what a sweet grandma does? She gives you cookies, which you love. She loves to feed you, and you're like, oh, it keeps you warm and loves you.
Yeah.
Because she knows what you like. She knows it's like entwined in her mind to grandma.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get me wrong, there's some evil grandmothers out there too. You
Oh
know?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, my dad's grandma fucked up. I love her. But I mean, she was like fucked up. I poor dad. I'm not even going to say that on here.
We won't get into
but,
it.
Like, you know, grandmas give you, you know, that sense of love and shit because they've just intertwined it. Same with grandfathers. They know what you love. They're like the grandpa size.
They spoil you.
Yeah, because when parents have kids, right? They're always working. So when they're off, they take them on vacation, or when they get off work, they have dinner with them. They sit down at the table, they watch movies together, they spend money on them. So like when grandparents retire, they have this big set of money, and they're like, you know, I'm here with my grandkids and my kids. The things I really love in life, because people really appreciate, you know, their kids and their grandkids, right?
My grandparents will straight up tell my parents that they like me and my brother more than them.
No, really. My grandma would tell me, my dad, she's like, yeah, I mean, you guys are great, but, you know, my dad is the best, you know, my dad. And I'm like, oh, great. You know, my dad's could never do wrong. Oh, you go bad.
Excuse me.
No, I got to see my dogs this week. It was a plus, you know.
Dude, see, being reunited with your pets is a great feeling, because like to them you were literally gone for probably like 10 years, but to us it's only like a couple weeks at a time or a couple months at a time, but to them it's literally their entire life.
I took like my great grandma, my great aunt, and my grandmother out for lunch, and I did have lunch with this bitch at this Italian restaurant, and I just blew her off to go do that with my them. So I was like, I took three women technically instead of one.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I like doing shit with like my family, you know, and I'd like rather do shit with
Dude,
them.
have you ever ate at Fat Patties?
Oh yeah, it's right by my house, man.
Dude, oh yeah, I forgot it is in Taze Valley.
Yep.
But dude, if you've never been to Fat Patties, anyone, highly recommend it.
Boom.
They got banging burgers. Their French fries
Top
are
notch.
amazing. Put bacon and cheese on them motherfuckers.
They got chops.
Get the mac and cheese bites. Their Bavarian pretzels are delicious. It was a top 10. Not to mention it's all relatively cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like
not
you
bad.
could get a pretty hefty meal by yourself for like $15 or less.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty banging.
Fat Patties, please sponsor us.
I went there after like a football game when I was a kid, and they have like this fucking cheeseburger that I kid you not, it's like probably the fucking size of this microphone here, and it's like fucking huge. And this is 7th or 8th grade, and we had this kid named Marcus, and he looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and he fucking ate the whole burger in one go, and I was like, what the fuck?
Me and my dad went there after playing our round of golf, and I hadn't ate much all day.
Yeah.
And so being on the golf course and just you know getting tired, we grubbed. Me and him destroyed that entire meal.
Yeah, see, I biked for 2 hours Friday, and then I went and met my Scoutmaster. So I have like a cheeseburger and a strawberry milkshake, dude. Levitate off the ground. I kid you not, a strawberry milkshake, like, is probably the most feminine thing I could do in my life. I don't know why.
Dude.
It's pretty feminine to drink a strawberry milkshake in my opinion.
Let's talk about.
But it's the best thing for McDonald's.
Let's talk about some feminine things that shouldn't be like
chapstick.
Like
right?
some feminine things that guys enjoy. Some feminine things that me and you enjoy.
Chapstick.
You enjoy chapstick?
Well, I don't really enjoy, like, if my lips are fucked up and I use, like, I have, like, that honey wax chapstick, but I would not put that in front of another guy. Banana, same thing. That's gay shit. No offense. No
Eating
offense
a banana?
to gay community.
Dude, I'm telling you.
It looks like a dick.
Starbucks Frappuccinos.
Oh, yeah, but I love
Those
a
are
Frappuccino.
so good.
I love a Frappuccino, but, like, I can't order one in front of a bunch of chicks. I'll be like, I'd rather have a nitro cold brew. Shot of caramel, 2 shots, because it's like
I feel like Starbucks in
Not
general
bad.
is just perceived as a feminine establishment.
yeah, that's why you get a nitro cold brew.
Yeah.
It's kind of like more of the dude drink that I would get at like Park Place when I worked at the movie theater. And I would have to carry back like 10 espressos and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember one time I was carrying back like a bunch of shit from Outback, and this bunch of like these like kids ran up to me, and this is when I was like fat, and a bunch of these little kids, because I worked in Charleston, which is right beside the West Side, and all these kids are coming up to me like, "Hey, yo, fatty, all that food for you." And I'm like, oh, fuck you, kids, and shit. And I kid you not, I drop all my food, and 5 minutes later, I had to serve those kids at Park Place.
Oh my god.
Dude, that is fucking... That and getting your ass
Little
kicked.
kids.
Yeah, that and getting your ass kicked by a girl at jiu-jitsu. That's kind of, repetitive. But now getting your ass beat at 19 at jiu-jitsu kind of makes you feel better.
Really?
You're like, yeah, I mean, like...
Are you getting any better?
Yeah, I mean, like, I get better at surviving. Because like the guy I go with has been wrestling for 10 years and been doing jiu-jitsu for like 3 months now.
Yeah.
So he's got 10 years of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, football, and he's in the Army Guard, right?
Holy shit.
So, I mean, Air National Guard. So, he's a physically fit guy. Like, he came back this weekend and he did a wrestling tournament where he just wrestled anybody above the age 18 in, like, Pennsylvania. And...
I didn't know they had like open wrestling tournaments like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's about 170 pounds, so I got like 30, 35, 40 pounds on the guy, maybe 165. I'm 200, so I'm like, but he's so fucking good with moves and shit that I just try to survive, that we both start off, that I can just keep myself alive, but every time I just get a little better.
Yeah.
I get him off me and throwing him off, but my best thing is, like, I have like fucking big arms, so I'll just put my arms between people. But what sucks is someone will fucking constrict me and put me in a headlock, so my head will fucking pop off.
Oh my god.
It's scary as shit. Like, I'm like laying on the ground and I got my hands around my throat and I'm trying to like fucking stay alive, and I'm like, oh shit. And I got this big fucking guy above me and he's like, just go to sleep. Go to sleep. Yeah, come on, bro. Just tap. Like, because you can talk and you be like, dude, it'll make it easier if you tap right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, you can start standing up, But, so it's just about surviving.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll go against a guy and I'll beat him, but I don't know, like, a finishing move other than, like, a rear naked choke or something like that, which is hard to put on a guy that's moving around. So I basically get on top of the guy and hold him down, like, and remain side control on people, where I'm like on top of them, but I'm on the side, so I can just inflict damage and like kind of just press into him and hold him down.
Yeah.
And that's all I can do right now until I learn more moves and shit like that.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm a bigger guy. I consider that kind of cheating. I think like you need like moves and techniques to really be good.
Yeah,
that's
that's why
something.
they have weight classes
Exactly.
for other sports.
Well, see, I'm working with a mix of people for like, dudes and chicks. Like, there's chicks in my classes, right? And don't get me fucking wrong. Like, a chick is like we were doing leg locks, right? And we were going around the room and we were practicing putting a fucking leg lock on my, a literal like pretzel around your throat and holding someone
Were you getting
down.
your head squeezed in by some lovely lady thighs?
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's a chick, right? And then it's your practicing going around the room, having someone try to break out of that. So you're getting fucking your head popped off, right? Don't get me
Put
fucking
your head
wrong.
in between a woman's legs, though?
Yeah, but you do it to fucking 9 other dudes in the class first. You want to talk about fun? I mean, you can talk about that first, man. Okay, you're sitting there, you're like, it doesn't fucking matter if it's a dude or a chick. That thing's going to fucking kill you. Because it's like...
Women
have
have
you ever...
surprisingly strong legs.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they fucking do is leg work. I mean, like, if you see a chick working out, right? It's walking at a hill climb or running.
Most women try to, like, develop their lower body.
Yeah.
Because, like, most women don't want, like, big, bulky arms or, like, like tone.
Depends on what you're going for.
So they usually work out the lower body. But, like, even in general, just, like, naturally, most women have, like, comparatively to men, women's legs are like very strong.
Do you ever, have you ever, this is kind of mean, at church and shit, we had this chick there, and she was kind of like, I think she's a lesbian now, and went to church with us. Weird church. We had two guys kiss there the other day at my church.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, great. Just more church shit. Modern day church level.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about that, like, sinners. And my grandmother, right? She's like, I don't give a shit. She's like, her best friend is, like, gay. She's like, hey, man, what's wrong with that? It's just another sin. She's like, you drink beer? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. She's like, then you sin.
Based grandma.
Yeah. I'm like, well,
it's just another sin.
And like, I know, like, my mom, she's kind of like hard turn Bible,
Yeah.
So she's like, sin is a sin. And I'm like, well, Mom, you got a tattoo. I mean, you got a tattoo, Ma. My mom's a pastor. That's not really traditional in church level speaking, right? That's kind of going out of the way.
You're going to hell, Grandma.
Yeah, I'm like, Mom, don't be a witch. Don't be a witch. Come on. But, it's kind of just funny as shit because my family's so mixed. Like, I got my youngest brother, is transgender. So I'm like, I haven't asked my mom about that. I'm like, what do you think? Because that's like my stepmom's kid. So it's not like the same thing. But I wonder what kind of like biblical restrictions are on like transgender people. What do you think on that?
I don't know. To be fair, I don't think the Bible says anything about transgender people.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be mistaken, but I don't recall hearing a verse or anything about it.
I mean, it's kind of whatever. I mean, if you want to address, like, however, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a shit, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Thumbs up for me.
Really, my thing is, I do my own shit, Why? I don't want anybody to bother me, so why should I bother someone else?
Exactly.
But as long as if you're not bothering someone, you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, just don't bother me.
Yeah, but if you're harming someone or bothering me or,
committing crime
or scarring someone, you don't need to
probably
fucking
shouldn't
do
be
that.
doing that.
Yeah, that's about it. But if you have to sit there and think twice, like, should I really be doing this? Probably fucking shouldn't do it, right?
Probably shouldn't do it.
But that sounds fucking lame, but you're like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like there would be much less, like, debate and, like, skirmish, between gay rights people and, just really in general, just between, like, the far left and the far right. There would be a lot less, like, beef and skirmish if people would just not give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if people like really, how much does people know, like, local shit? Like, how much do you know your, like, local government?
Local government?
Yeah.
Not as well as I should.
Yeah, okay. What? In your fucking life, other than the presidential shit, raising gas, right, which right now is fucking $4 a gallon,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck does the presidential level do other than going to war and that compared to your local government? Your local government shit happens on the daily.
That is true.
And yet you are like more like people our age are like, now which Republican are you, Democrat? And then you're obsessed with Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Two people you will never fucking meet, right? Instead, you're not talking about your governor too well or like your sheriff, right?
Yeah.
Like your sheriff controls your fucking local law enforcement. They're in charge of your fucking money and shit for security. It's not fucking Donald Trump flying in fucking police helicopters to your house.
That's
It's like
a good
you're
point. I feel like people should
like focus more locally.
Put more attention and try to learn more about their local government than worrying about the federal government.
Well, honestly, and like,
because like in all honesty, like, do you know how fucking long it takes to get laws passed in the federal government? Months, sometimes years.
Exactly, and like
at the local level, it's a lot quicker.
Okay, so let me look at this. They got a law right now in Florida, right? And it's going to in place an idea that kids 5 to 7 years old, so that's looking at kindergartners to third graders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going under Governor DeSantis of Florida, and he wants to implement this law saying you can't teach kids about the words using gay, homosexual, or bisexual, or transgender. So it's kindergarten to third grade, so they're just not going to talk about being gay, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna, once they're past that, they will. And the kind of spoken idea is they just think it's too young, and kids will be like, oh, I'm gay, no, you're gay, and just go back and forth,
Yeah.
which will then implant roles in their head, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of the issue is, why can't you teach that kid stuff? Like, if two kids have, two dads, it's, whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Well, you also have to look at the political climate of Florida. Florida, for the most part, is a very Republican state. So
you got to think, with people moving in, right, to Florida, right, the rich people there, more Democratic, and also anybody that is has moved to Florida, like Hispanics and all that kind of stuff, they're going to be more Democratic, right?
Mhm.
Here's my thing, though. Me and my dad would talk about this. Is like right now, like most Hispanic and Latino families are Democratic, but like that kind of group of people, like they're family based. They love like guns. They love their country, and they love their family and religion. What does that sound like?
Republicans.
Yeah, but right now the Democratic Party repeals to people coming in through the border. Why?
Yeah.
Because the Republican Party doesn't want them in, right?
Exactly.
But when they get in, the Hispanic growing community is the fastest growing community in like America, because like they have the most kids right now. So like one of the most biggest like voting communities is going to be the Hispanic population,
Mhm.
which could very much be like Republicans.
Yeah, there's like back when the 2020 election was going on, you would see like a surprising number of like Hispanic and foreign people supporting the Republican Party.
And they're hardworking people. I mean, like seriously, I'm not. I mean, like don't like coming in and getting jobs that are like for low paying and working to support your family and stuff like that. I mean, that sounds like, and I'm not trying to say like Democrats don't do that. Of course I'm not fucking saying that. Come on, guys. But that's just like an idealism of like the Republican Party is like the nitty gritty worker,
Mhm.
the undying machine. While like the Democratic Party is more of like, hey guys, we shouldn't work as hard, and you shouldn't make a machine out of yourself. You should get a break. You should get vacation days. That's some good shit, right? But both sides
get a
go over the
vaccine.
air. Yeah, man. Okay, I got mine just so like my great grandparents wouldn't
Yeah.
bitch at me, because all they do is watch the news, and they're like,
Yeah.
like they're my secondary parents. I got to see them for like 4 hours this week.
I have the regular vaccine. I haven't been boosted yet.
I got my boost.
I probably won't get boosted until I'm forced.
Well, I just didn't. Well, I thought I would like let me get my mask off shit sooner, and I'm like, yeah, just like, and I don't want anyone to bitch at me if I have my mask off.
Which the OVU released the mask mandate in classrooms, which is fucking lit.
Yeah, and I enjoy that.
You wanna know what's crazy? I
What?
told you this earlier, but when they lifted that mask mandate, like the first class we went to was the first time we would have went to a class without a mask in over 2 years.
Yeah, it fucking made me feel old, and also seeing people that are a year younger than us about to graduate. They were talking about what they're going to do for a living and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, so what are you up to? What are you doing? And I was like, oh, this and that podcast. And they were like, it's just great, man. Being back home is way easier than college, I realized. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love working
There's no stress.
Oh, dude, yes. Like, being back home, you're like, oh, I can breathe, right?
Yeah.
But being at college, I realized makes me, like, so much stronger as a person.
Yeah, but it helps you handle stress.
Oh, yeah, and, like, working...
Overcome adversity.
Well, think about, like, okay, my working out here, right? I have, like, a 7-minute drive to the gym, right? And working out there, I'm the second biggest guy in the gym. Usually the first biggest guy. First biggest guy is like a 30-year-old man that works out all the time. Not really caring about that guy. The view, I'm surrounded by guys bigger than me. So
Yeah.
it tests me, it pushes me, right? But like, and also I have to walk up a fucking hill like this in a mile through the like fucking weather. Sometimes it'll rain or snow.
Yeah.
So
and you don't have a car.
Well, yeah, and doing jujitsu and all that shit. It makes you tough, man. But like home, it's like a fucking reset.
Yeah.
So I've just
The summer is going to be tough though.
Oh,
just
dude.
working and having
a good
Raising
time.
hell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming up here once a week, and we've got skit ideas. I got a couple more skit ideas. I wanted to tell you about one.
Be on the lookout for those in the future.
Oh yeah, I got
Some
one.
Key and Peele type skits
Well,
may be coming your way.
I got one, and I forgot to tell you about. It involves jousting. I'll tell you about it.
Oh Christ!
Yeah. So
We don't want to give too much away.
No. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, we got some ideas that we're going to implement, and we're going to start mixing them in on the TikTok, and that's kind of like cool shit. We don't talk about that a lot, but you pop off on the TikTok like because you had that video go off when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And because of that, we have like an effective outreach to the people, you know? And I just wish more people listen to the show. Like and I had a good way to describe the show because when people ask me, "Oh, what's this show like?" You know, what do you usually say?
Yeah.
Like, what do you say? I'm like,
oh, I usually just tell people we don't really have a specific topic, but we're just
funny and
we're just the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, I mean exactly. That's like I'm like kind of like Joe Rogan, but I have a different take, and you know, I'm just shooting the shit. You know, sometimes I have guests on, but you know, it's just something I love.
I also tell people it's more of a way for us to document our college life.
Exactly. That's what I bring up too, because I'm like, I can't wait until my kid's my age. Like, if he's like 15 and he wants to listen to this shit, go ahead. Because I know a lot of times people would not, like, I was very lucky to have friends that were like-minded to me, and it gave me great insights on life, and not working for a job that you hate, and having this shared idea of finding a passion and making money from it, right? So I have this idea to do the podcast, and from that, I get to do something that maybe works with passion and what I love doing, right? But without my friends, I've realized I had never watched a podcast show before if I didn't skip school one day with my friends, right? To go hang out at a park. I skipped school one day and went to his house and watched Joe Rogan for the first time.
Really?
Yeah. And I would never have I would never literally be where if I am if I didn't skip school one day.
Don't
right?
you think it's kind of crazy how life plays out?
Well, see, in my music taste, right? Like, I love Sublime, but I love Nirvana from my dad. I wouldn't love Sublime if I didn't have my friends, the same friends that introduced me to, like, podcasting.
It's crazy how every decision you've ever made in your life up until this point has led you here.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was talking about how he almost bought a house in Taze Valley.
Yeah.
And he was like, so if me and your mom would have done that, you would have went to Hurricane High School.
Yeah.
If they made that one decision literally almost 20 years ago, me and you would not be sitting here right now.
I don't know. I kind of live near Hurricane.
But you went to Hoover.
Yeah, but I almost did the same thing. Remember, I live in Scott Depot, which is right there. I almost did that. Almost.
They also almost bought a house in Ripley.
I'll let you know, I went to like 6 preschools growing up, right? And I could have gone to any elementary I wanted. I almost skipped grades. Me and my sister both. We almost skipped grades.
Really?
Yeah, we both got offered. No. My sister did. And I think
You were just a dumbass.
Yeah, I was the dumbass. Rihanna did. I think I lied about that one. Rihanna did. And I was like, yeah, and Rihanna was in Gifted. So Rihanna's always been the smart one. Like, I just now kind of mastered my handwriting to it's like it readable. Like,
Yeah.
I always had shit handwriting.
I always remember we would be like writing like rough drafts and shit in English,
Oh
and you
my
would hand it to a
God.
teacher. It should be like, I can't read this.
Well,
Go back and redo it.
Well, see, like my college teachers now, right? That don't fly, right? So I write 3 pages of notes per class usually because I take all my notes in handwriting. And I usually, like, I'll look through my notes half the time I don't. But usually I'll just go back and read lectures notes. Really, it's just so I can get the memorization skills from writing down, and I get better handwriting from taking notes.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, my handwriting's improved a lot since college.
It's actually, mine's done the opposite. My handwriting was like impeccable in middle school
Yeah.
and the first part of high school, but now it's just kind of meh.
You type a lot, right?
No, actually, the only class I type my notes for is history,
Oh,
but I handwrite everything else.
so is your how does your handwriting get shit if you use it?
Because I just try to write fast.
Oh yeah, I mean
Write as much shit as possible.
Well, see,
Because like in high school, like your teacher would like stop on each slide, make sure everyone had it written down.
but if you're
But in college, they don't give a fuck. They just fly through that shit. There's almost 200 kids in that class. She ain't got time to slow down for every person.
I think the first time in my geology class, some guy raised his hand and asked if they could go back. He's like, the slides are online. And just kept going. And I was like, wow. And that's even my nice professor. Yeah. And I was like, damn. Even though we have access to the slides, it's you kind of just want to go through it and keep up. But like you said, the teachers are on a schedule to wait for one kid to 200, and then the other two classes they got to teach that day. 1 out of 600 kids is just a small blimp on the radar. It's not really.
They don't have time to meet the needs of everyone.
No, but you're supposed to have an equal and fair representative as a student, right? To a professor, they have to teach you equally and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes professors will extend the truth on shit. You remember how I was talking about that DeSantis law they're going to have try to implement on Florida about the gay laws? Well, when I first heard that, my professor said, well, and Florida hates gay people. They're going to ban schools from saying the words gay, homosexual, or bisexual, or transgender. But he didn't say the words, the ages that came with it, right? If I didn't research that beforehand and look it up, I wouldn't know that he spread false information.
It was only for ages 5 to 7.
Yeah, and that teacher specifically, he's, homosexual, right? So he's putting on a narrative, right? It's like the guy that goes fishing. He's got a fish this big, right? Don't get me wrong. Him as a teacher, right? I mean, he brought up the narrative that, as a gay parent, if he were to adopt a kid, right? The thing that comes with being a gay parent is people look at it as A, you're going to make your kid gay, or B, you're going to rape the kid, right? Because that's what people think. And he's like, now that's fucked up. But it comes with, it's a stigma, with gay people. Same with, if you look at a gay couple, or a lesbian couple, they're like, so which one's the dude, which one's the chick, you know? And he was raw dogging that shit. He was like, this shit sucks.
Yeah.
Which it does, man. I mean, it get fucking picky, but, he also, will blame shit on, he'll be like, now the top 1% of the people are white and they control this. And I'm like, okay, so everybody's controlled by this 1%, right? Everybody. But just because they're majorly white, fuck me because I'm white, dude.
Yeah.
And he'll be like that in class. He'll be like, the number one, victim in America usually is an 18 to 25-year-old male that's black, right? But second to that is a white man, 18 to 25, right? Yeah. So I'm almost just as likely to get fucked up because people our age, they look at us, you're not a man yet, so you're not fully grown. You don't have that a head on your shoulders yet. People are fucking angry. Mm-hmm. You may be 22 and you may be drunk. You may fucking fist fight and get in trouble with the law and shit, right? But the number one victim in America, right? The number one person to get murdered, guess what? Male. True. Number one person to go to prison for a serious crime. Male.
Most
people
likely to commit suicide.
Male. And most people in prison.
Male.
Right.
Most likely to go to war.
But when it comes to serious hard crimes, when it comes to racial profiling, if you look at African Americans, they will have which people say you can't say that anymore. Black now is the proper term. My bad. Ban me. My bad. Fuck it. They're more likely to get longer time for serious crimes. But if you look at women, they get less time for serious crimes. Mm-hmm. And it's just how the fucking world works. I saw that shit at Park Place.
There's nothing you can do to change that.
Okay, if you were ever at work.
You can you can, advocate to end racism or end, gender norms or shit like that. It's never
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah, I mean,
There will
like,
always be racism. There will always be,
it's just how
sexist remarks or sexist ideologies in society. There will always be shit like that. You can't get rid of it.
it's because your brain, when you look at a person, right, you put them in a category, right? Like when I look at you, I think of my podcast roommate, right? Like when if I'm like trying to talk to you in third person, right? I'm like, oh, if I'm talking about you to my dad, I'm like my roommate, Dustin, right? What comes to my mind is, podcast friend and all that shit. I put you in a category. If you were to look at someone that's gay, right, that automatically comes up. They're like, oh, that's gay Steve. It comes with their personality. You hold it with someone.
Yeah.
And you're like, why do you do that?
Yeah, why isn't he just Steve?
Yeah, just because your mind puts groups on things because it makes it easier. And like when you group people by
do it
color or
because
anything like that.
they see something different than them,
Yeah.
and they don't think it's normal.
No, because you're like, but like, it's everything to you isn't normal. I mean, like,
That's why I think it's ridiculous when people, strive for world peace. World peace is fucking impossible.
I mean,
there will never be a time when there is not conflict on the planet.
You can do
okay?
a really good job of like settling shit locally. I mean, that's
probably, but
I mean, if everybody focused locally, that would be pretty cool.
You,
But if we got everybody focused locally for 5 years and got shit under control, like if we
at some point something will fuck up.
Yeah, I mean seriously, someone would be like, "Fuck, we can't focus locally." Like
that's how I see things. It's just like believing in a utopian planet where everything is all Skittles and fucking rainbows. Stop. I mean, literally, just mind your business. Be nice to other people. And if someone hurts you, fuck them up until they don't hurt you anymore and then move on. That's life.
I mean, life sucks a lot of times. You'll get fucking beat up all the time, but you just got to keep going, bro. I mean, what helps you a lot of times is getting beat up. Because you grow stronger from it.
Unless it directly affects me or is affecting someone I love and care about, I should give zero fucks about what anyone else on the planet is doing.
Yeah, because you are like, you have some important shit to do on your own day, right? And you know what you should do a lot of times is enjoy the little shit. Because the little shit like this, I'm stealing this from my mom. Me and my mom had this conversation. And she was like, it's the little shit that adds up to the big shit. Like, little happy thoughts that lead to a good thought, or little bad thoughts that lead to a bad thought. You go through life and you have 10,000 thoughts a day on regular.
Yeah.
I think that's like what they did a study. Usually about 10,000 thoughts a day.
Yeah. I think women either speak or. I think it's women. The statistic is women speak more every day than a dude.
Yes, on average.
Yeah.
But, women are also better at, like, picking up body language,
I don't doubt
than
it.
dudes. Also better at detecting color than dudes,
There's a lot of weird shit.
Well, I mean, like, okay, that meme, it's like, what's the difference between this lipstick color? And dudes are like, it's pink. And they're just pink, just different colors, right? Women, yeah, we can see they're different shades, but we just don't give a shit. We're like, fuck it. Just get the pink one. I don't care, right? Women have, I think it's, a lot of times they say it's due to, like, picking berries and shit back in the day, having a distinct, tracking for color, differentiate.
See, the wise words of Dave Chappelle once summed up the inner needs of a man. Okay? There are 4 things a man needs to be happy.
Yeah.
For the rest of his life.
Alcohol, women, food.
No, there are 4 things a woman needs to do for a man that'll make him happy for the rest of his life. Suck his dick, play with his balls, make him a sandwich, and don't talk too much. That's all you can ask for.
I'm going to take the words from my English teacher from 10th grade, Miss Roddenauer. She said, men are easy. And this is like, I think we're, 15, 16.
16, yeah.
And she's like, men are easy. Set them in front of any kind of sport event, give them a big drink of beer, and have a very good looking woman deliver beer and food to them. And they are set for life. Any kind of sport event. It can be boxing, it can be golfing, it can be tennis, but just keep giving them beer and good food, right? Which, don't get me wrong, as long as I got a bathroom, I wouldn't fucking leave that.
No,
right? Unless
you have no reason to.
Unless I have like something to do for my like okay, this week I visited everybody in my family, right? I visited everybody. I got everything done. I blew that chick off on a date to see like my family. Fuck them, not them, that chick. I got everything done. So why the fuck would I leave that kind of sporting event shit?
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfect time.
Yeah.
I enjoy the simple things in life. Like we got done earlier. You guys were loading metal all day in a fucking trailer, and we got done. We went and sat on the side by side and drove around.
Yeah.
Cool as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Flying through the woods. It's an easy day to me, man.
Well, I think with that being said, we're going to conclude this episode. Any final thoughts or statements to round up everything we've been talking about?
Have you ever had that butter from a jar?
What the fuck?
You ever had that butter from like a squeeze bottle before?
No.
I had that for the first time this week. It's not too bad. I'll show you. It's weird.
Well, thank you for those kind words.
No problem.
Anyways, this is D.
This is T.
And thank you for listening to D&T TV.
See you guys.